Hey guys, Huzzy here, bringing you another video. Now, welcome to the extra video of the day. Doing another league discussion. People seem to be really enjoying these. In the update video that we did the other day, when I announced the schedule that we'll be doing, like, Unranked to Diamond as the main video and Climb to Master as the second, there was actually a handful of people going, what about league discussion? Where's that happening? And that'll be in the gaps. Climb to Master won't be every single day as the second video. Those will be, like, league discussions and stuff. So, yeah, don't worry. But we've got a few discussions to talk about today. Again, doing the multi-format that has been actually doing really well. That I actually think is better than having one video dedicated on one topic. And I will say the next league discussion after this one will actually be all about Unranked to Diamond. So that will be in like a couple of days' time. But the first topic we're going to be talking about today is, should a player work more on core fundamentals or abusing an overpowered champion to climb? So it's basically, what do you want? Do you want like a rating, a shiny badge, or do you want to be a good player, but it might be like a slower climb? And I'll say that it depends exactly what you want out of League of Legends, right? And I think that's basically what it comes down to. Apart from one time of the year, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But for the most part, I would say, if you can do both, then do both. You can definitely learn core fundamentals on overpowered champions. But I think what people are hinting at here is if you are like swapping your champion pool whenever a new overpowered champion comes out, if you're swapping all the time, how then do you get the core fundamentals? I think that's what they're kind of getting at here. And I'd say for the first couple years of League of Legends, I would say have some champions that you know you're good at, and you kind of, let's say, call them your home champions, and you kind of play your home champions to get the core fundamentals, and you experiment a little bit. But if that doesn't go very well, you can kind of go back on your home champions. It's the safety net, right? And that's what I'd say, is like have your champions that you know you're good at, that you know you've got the core stuff on already, but then do the experimentation on other stuff. But when it comes to rating, obviously meta has, throughout the years always been, this is how you climb the best, is following the meta more or less. It's what majority of people do. Again, people always throw the one trick thing in my face going, what about one tricks? Again, you have to remember, one tricks make a minority of the community, not a majority. It is an effective way to climb, but more people climb using meta than one tricking. So that's up to you. But I would say is the only time that I would, let's say, abuse overpowered champions, if you normally don't, is the end of the season. If you're like, say, Silver 1 and you want to get in gold, go on overpowered champions and try to get that gold. It's probably going to be a little bit quicker, a little bit, more reactive, as long as you're okay at the overpowered stuff. That's what I generally say. For the most part, play champions you're good at, get the core stuff down. And when we're talking core fundamentals, by the way, we're talking, last hitting, decision making, knowing your item builds, knowing all the champions in the game, basically. Again, sometimes when I'm making a commentary, you don't need to know exactly what they do 100%. I think the Rise video is a good thing of that. I know what Rise does. I can tell you all of his abilities. The Q's a thing he throws, W's a root, the E's is spready thing, and his ultimate's a teleport. That's all you really need to know. As long as you know that for all the champions in the game, then you're good as gold, and then you're ready for ranked. But you don't need to know like the crazy in-depth stuff. You only need to know that if you're playing the champion as one of your picks, right? So I'd say for the most part, play stuff that you know you can improve your core fundamentals on, and you'll slowly become a good player. But maybe at the end of the season, just go on like an overpowered picker is what I'd say for the most part. But thanks very much. Next one is, are all champions viable in every meta? And he used the example of Shaco. Yes and no, but it depends your definition of viable. Can you play every champion no matter what? Yeah, obviously. You can lock it in. There's no problem with that. Is it worth doing is a completely different question. So when it's a tank meta, all the assassin players come out the woodwork and complain like crazy because it's like, oh god, what can we do? And that is true. And that's where people sometimes have to adapt. The meta is a thing that changes all the time, that adapts and changes with how the game is going. And for people who complain about meta, those are the people that just don't adapt. They are probably the one tricks or the mains or the assassin players who are in a tank meta. And they, again, are the minority. You have to remember, most of the time when people are complaining is the minority complaining. The loudest voice in a room usually is the negative one, not the positive one, or not even the neutral one. It's the negative one. So you can play anything. But if it's worth doing, that's another question. If you just play League of Legends for one champion, that's all you enjoy, then obviously the answer to you is yes, because that's all you enjoy. So if you just enjoy shaco, you will play him no matter the meta because that's what you enjoy. It's your video game. But if you're like, oh, I like shaco, but I don't love him, I can play other stuff, then it probably isn't worth picking him in certain metas. And that goes for all champions. I think that it's a personal thing. Depends how much you're attached to one champion. But what I'd say is if you're not like overly attached, you're like, oh, I'm going to pick up a new champion. You know, I'm going to pick up shaco. Well, how is he in the meta right now? Oh, he's not very good. Then you have to make a decision. Oh, I'm going to still pick him up anyway because I just want to play him, or I'll pick him up at another time. And that's personal decision. That's completely up to you, depending if that's for you or not for you, is what I'd say. So, yeah, it's as simple as that. Next one, again, we're going through these a bit quick, so we do have 4 topics just in case. I think I said 3 at the start of the video, but we're going through these quite quick. Again, just to mention, I don't want to pick on one tricks here, by the way. I've said it in the past. We had a whole video about the situation in Hearthstone about one tricks. I don't mind them. I don't think it's a very good idea to do. But if you want to do that, that's fine. I hope you watch my channel and you don't think that I absolutely hate them. I don't hate them. They can be useful, but I just wouldn't recommend them to the average player. And that's what I talk about, everybody. The average player. When people throw examples at me like, oh, Yasuo, you know, he's a one-trick Yasuo, gets Challenger, he's better than you. Well, duh, he plays way more games than me, and he can play thousands of games on the same champion. The average player is not doing that. That's what I'm not talking about the guy that plays thousands of games. I'm talking about the guy that works a 9-to-5 job, that comes home, that plays 1 or 2 games a night. He's the average player. He might not even be the average player. The average player may play a couple of games a week, and one tricking is not effective for that. You have to get really good at a champion by playing consistent. So some people do get confused about that. And the reason why I'm saying this is because the next question, again, does mention one tricks, but it's because the Twitch chat did give me this question. And even on the Twitch stream, I was like, oh, I might try and avoid questions with one tricks because people get triggered when I talk about them. And all the Twitch chat said, no, please, can you talk about this because it's a pretty important thing. So just putting it out there. The question is about transitioning. Transitioning from a new role. So if you're a mid lane player and you want to go to top lane, you have to transition. You have to get used to it. It's also a new champion. How do you pick up a new champion? And then finally, if you're a one trick, how do you stop being a one trick? So those are the 3 things we're talking about transitioning. The first one about getting a new role. The best way that I would do it, again, the basic is play the new role, but the basic way I would do it and what I have done in the past is you've got to look up similarities of champions. So when you're in mid lane, so we'll use the example of mid lane. And again, this doesn't work for everything, but it can work most of the time. You're a mid lane main, you play standard AP mages. How are then you going to transition to top lane? Because a lot of the top laners have nothing in common with mid laners. Well, the basic thing to do is find some of these mid laners that you play that are actually okay in top lane. So Vladimir, he's a mid lane, but he can play top lane. Malzahar, people are playing him more in top lane now. Lysandra, Kayle. See, these are the type of mid laners that can be played top. And if you play some of them, just go play them in top lane. Then you'll get an understanding of how top lane is different to mid. I know it sounds weird to some people. You're playing the same champion just in a different lane. How does it feel different? It's miles different. The lanes have the lanes have their own personalities of how people play their champions and how they play the lane, what jungle behavior there is, how does the farming go. All of it's different. So that sometimes is the best thing to do, is find champions in your current role and play them in the new role. Now, some people instantly go, I'm an AD carry player, how do I go to top lane? There's nothing in common. I can't play an AD carry in top lane for the most part. You find something that's similar. So if you're playing an AD carry, it's a ranged champion, so go play a ranged champion in top lane. Kennen, he's a ranged champion. Gnar has ranged elements to him. Jace has ranged elements to him. Play something that has similarities so you're not completely on something different. You have something that you can kind of go, oh, this is range. I know range. I know positioning. So there you go. It won't work for everything, obviously. But it works for the most part. And I'd say that's the best thing to do when it's picking up a new role. Some people will just like jump on the deep end and play nothing in common. And they may not do it very well. Or they'll do well. You know, it's a lucky dip, really. But if you're a little bit worried about it, find similarities and play the similarities in the new role, or even play champions just in that role. And again, don't do it in ranked for the most part. Again, to my advice to the average League player, don't pick up a new role in ranked, pick up a new role in normal games or flex queue, where it doesn't really matter. So there's that. So that's the new role. Next one is new champions. Again, like I've said before, it depends on what you're doing, but if you're picking up something new, play something that has similarities. Or just spam it. Like, again, there's not much more that you can do when you're picking up stuff, is just spam it as much as you can. Normal games and stuff like that. If you're wanting to pick up something that is very popular, don't ban it, because part of knowing a champion and knowing how to play a champion is also knowing how to play against that champion. So playing against it will also help you learn the champion. So if you've got a friend or something that's really good at the champion you want to pick up, go in a custom game and 1v1 that person. It's not perfect practice, but you'll learn what they're doing differently to what you're doing on the champion. So there's that. But yeah, just play it. It's that kind of that simple. You know, you can watch content on the champion. That's what a lot of people do. You can watch streamers or YouTubers, and that will give you some just general advice and mechanics of what to do. But the basic thing is play it. And then finally, how to transition from being a one-trick to a champion pool. And I actually say this is the most difficult one of all transitions. Again, I've said in the past, I have literally seen people quit the game of League of Legends because they were a one-trick. They're like, I don't want to be a one-trick anymore. And let's say they were a Diamond 2-ish player. They try to go play other stuff, and they literally can't. And they get really frustrated. And I've seen people who are Diamond 2 in, like, solid Diamond 2 player stop being a one-trick and, like, demote all the way down to, like, Platinum. It's like, and that's demoralizing. That's really demoralizing. Because you think of yourself as, oh, I'm a Diamond 2 player, but really you're not if you're a one-trick. You're a Diamond 2 Riven or whatever. And then you kind of find out, like, oh, God, yeah, I'm not Diamond. That's demoralizing, and I've literally seen people quit over that. The best way to do it, in my opinion, and I know this is kind of weird advice, is level a new account. Usually I don't suggest this to people, but being a one-trick and stop being a one-trick is a hard thing to do, and you're going to have to kind of treat yourself as a new player, not just, you know... Again, I've said it in the past, if you're a Diamond one-trick, if you're stopping being a one-trick, you're not a Diamond player anymore. You're a Diamond whatever champion you one-tricked. So level a new account, playing as much as you can, and then going ranked with not playing your champion. Some people will kind of default going, oh, I'm in promo on my new Smurf, oh, I'll go on the champion that I'm a one-trick. Really try to resist that urge. The best example I can give is that guy Yasuo, who's that Yasuo one-trick guy. Apparently, it's become a meme or something now, but he wants to become a pro, an LCS pro, and he knew he'd never get picked up being a one-trick. It's literally impossible. So he said, I'm going to stop playing Yasuo as much, and he leveled a new account. He went in ranked, and he didn't, from my knowledge, he didn't really play any Yasuo, and he got to, like, Master. It's like, that's a brilliant example. So do that. Play on a brand new account without playing your one-trick, and then you'll slowly get your level. And some people, again, I've seen it as well, people get stuck, or, you know, if they've been a one-trick and they play on a new account, some people get, like, stuck in gold, and then they're like, I'm not a gold player, but in reality, they may be. You know, if they don't play their champion, that's maybe where they are. But at least you'll be learning with people around that general skill level while you're learning new stuff. So yeah, my advice would be level a brand new account. I know it's weird advice, but it's probably the best thing to do. Let's go for one more topic, though, because we may as well. Is, if you want to get better, should you play my plat friends? Should I play with my plat friends in ranked, or should I play on my own? 100% the answer is play on your own. Duo queuing and playing with people that are better than you, let's say, is not that effective way of getting better at League or in stuff in general. When it comes to, like, cooperative team stuff. The reason for this is because you don't know how much you're doing in that respect. If you're playing with if you're playing with people that are basically, say, carrying you for the most part, you're not really learning stuff, you're just winning. And I know that sounds weird to some people, but there is a difference there. If, like, every game you're like, oh, we did well, we won the game, and your plat friend is always outperforming you, if that plat friend wasn't there, do you think you would have won all those games and stuff like that? There's always going to be that in the back of your mind. The best thing to do is to practice and get better at League, is doing it by yourself. Is going, right, I got a platinum, I know I got platinum by myself, then you know you're a platinum player. No one can take that away from you. And you don't have that feeling of, oh God, I might have got carried here or stuff like that. And every single game, at the end of the game, you know how much you did. You don't need to know how much your friend did and how much you did and how much, like, did they carry you and all that stuff. You just simply know how much you did by yourself. And that's exactly what you want. So yeah, don't play with people that are better you in ranked if you want to improve. Watching people that are better than you is a good way. Playing normals with them just for a bit of fun. Sometimes you can pick up new stuff. But when it comes to ranked, I would very much suggest playing by yourself and not relying on others. But that's going to be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this discussion for today. If you did, throw a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't. Leave any comments down below, any discussions down below. I'll read through them later on. And have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.